And so, speaking of writing books, I'm so excited to talk about tangents. Tangents. Because I just feel like this is the most misunderstood thing that I see coming up with beginner writers, right? So, what is a tangent, first of all? Hello, beautiful people. I am so excited and slightly less nervous than last time to be back here recording my second podcast episode of Write with Chloe. In case you don't know me, I am an author and my debut book was called The Girls, and it was about loss of my two sisters in a car accident when I was 17 and all the chaos, drama, sex, drugs, all that crazy stuff that followed afterwards, and then eventually coming back and reconnecting with my family and learning how to communicate through our shared trauma, but really different sort of values and worldview and politics and all that sort of stuff. And I'm a writing coach, and now I help other people that are also wanting to write and publish their first book do the same thing that I did, but hopefully without all of the same mistakes that I made, so they can sort of reach their goal a little bit quicker. And here's the key for me, and actually enjoy the process. So basically I help people write their debut book in just 45 minutes a day and enjoy the process. And so, speaking of writing books, I'm so excited to talk about tangents. Because I just feel like this is the most misunderstood thing that I see coming up with beginner writers, right? So what is a tangent, first of all? Tangent is basically when how I understand it anyway. I don't know if this is what the dictionary would say. Let's say you're like walking down the street and you think you're going from point A to point B, and you have a vision for where you want to go and you can see the path to get there. Then suddenly you see this little side path going into the woods, and so you decide to just go on this random tangent off to the side instead of following the path that you thought you were going to follow when you initially set out on the journey. So that's a tangent. And tangents happen all the time in a first draft, right? All the time. We think that we're going to be writing a book about, I don't know, falling in love in Malibu. And then we realize that actually we just wrote a book about how our mother triggers us so much and a trip around Peru, whatever. My point is completely different, right? From where we initially thought we were going. And so when you kind of scale this back and think about tangents in, say, a single day or like a single scene, right? So let's say you're sitting down to write a single scene and you think that you're going to write. When I sat down to write this morning, I had in mind that I wanted to write about an argument that my boyfriend and I had the day before. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to write the story, conversation, the resolution, the lesson. Great. I sat down, started to write the first couple of lines, and then I don't know what happened, but suddenly 20 minutes had passed, and actually I'd written about something completely different and completely unrelated about an event that happened back from when we met for the first time. And so an earlier part of me, or an earlier writerly self, when I was still learning, would have interpreted that as a bad thing. There maybe would have even been some really harsh / negative self-talk going along with it. Like, why can't you stay on track? Or like, how are you ever gonna make it as a writer? Or let alone even finish a book if you can't even just stay on track where you thought that you were going to go. This is bad, blah, 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 right? But the thing is, your brain lies to you all day, literally. All day, every day, over and over and over. Your brain is lying to you. Don't accidentally write a book that no one wants to read except for your mum. So how do we produce writing that people can't stop reading? Well, we write from the body or intuition or soul, not from the head or intellect, which is where most beginner writers write from unless they know better. My membership, Write from the Heart, teaches you exactly this. How do we write from the body or soul or intuition in order to produce work that has great psychological nuance and depth and that readers just can't put down? We get together online once a week. I give you a magic prompt to help you do so. We do a little bit of hot seat coaching to work through some of the struggles. And then in between, you get access to a library of more than 20 videos explaining every step of the process and mindset shifts needed to write a beautiful first draft of a book that people can't put down. You can join the first week for free. Just use the code Chloe at the checkout. And tangents are another example of how this happens within the context of writing, right? So for me, the way that I think about writing and the way that I teach writing is that writing a first draft is something that is done from the body. It's something that is done in yin or feminine energy, and it's something that is received. It's not something that you get to choose. It's certainly not something that you get to dictate or control or lead, right? We don't want to be like writing from our intellect or our head or our masculine or yang energy, the opposite. And so for me, when I'm in the way that I teach my students, it's like when we sit down to the page to write a first draft, actually, it's not about walking that path that you thought you were going to go down. The work is actually like, can you open enough and receive what wants to be written, even when it doesn't make sense to your brain, even when it's confusing, scary, difficult emotions are coming up, maybe your brain is saying, no one is going to like this, or so-and-so is going to sue you, or this isn't publishable, or this isn't what real writers write. Even when all of those mental stories are being fed to you by your brain, can you stay the course and actually just keep writing what your hands or your body or your subconscious wants you to write? And the thing is, like, it's going to be messy. It's going to be like kind of chaotic. It's probably not going to make much sense necessarily in terms of being a cohesive whole piece. Probably going to be like spelling errors and, multiple different tenses and whatever it is. And can you just allow that? And for me, like, that is where the magic comes in writing. Because what happens if you can surrender to that is that you realize that actually your body wants you to write something completely different to what your intellect wants you to write. Like, your intellect wants you to stay small and safe and serious and whatever. Your body wants something else. And it's only through allowing the tangents that we actually get to see what it is our body or our subconscious or our intuition, whatever you want to call it, wants us to write. Editing is a different story. Editing, then we go up into the head, we're in masculine energy, we're directing, we're making conscious decisions, all of that sort of stuff, absolutely. But writing is the complete opposite. Literally, writing and editing are complete opposite processes. And when you try and do both at one time, it's like someone trying to walk forward while simultaneously trying to walk backwards and then beating themselves up that they're not doing what they can't do it properly. It's like, why can't I walk forward whilst I'm walking backwards? This is so annoying. I just want to walk forwards and backwards at the same time. It's not that hard. Everyone else can do it. Why can't I do it, right? When you try and write and edit at the same time, that is literally what you are doing to yourself, and then getting angry at yourself for not being able to pull it off. So can we let writing be a separate process from editing and allow the tangents, and not just allow them, but actually celebrate them as like your body and your subconscious and your intuition speaking to you? And can you actually let yourself listen despite the discomfort? That's how we truly write a first draft and receive from the body on the page. So celebrate your tangents instead of making them wrong would be my advice for writing a first draft. And if you would like more tips about writing, editing, getting published, living the author lifestyle, all of those things, you can check out my Instagram. It's at write_with_Chloe. And I have also made a 3-part free video sequence that you can get via email called How to Write 10,000 Words in 30 Days. So you can check out the link below, sign up to that, and I will slide into your email inbox as well. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please drop a comment below if you're on YouTube, or pop a review down below for me if you're listening as a podcast. I would really appreciate that. And otherwise, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you. I just created a new membership called Write from the Heart, and I would love for you to come along and give it a try. You can use the word Chloe at the checkout and get the first week free. The reason I created this is because so many people tell me, I really want to work with you, Chloe, but I just want to get a first draft down before I come to you. And it's awkward because I kind of have to tell them that usually what happens when people do that, they end up having to throw away everything that they wrote before coming to me because they didn't realize it, but they wrote a whole first draft from the head or intellect instead of from the body or intuition and soul. And when we write from the head or intellect, the work just has no depth or nuance. And so it's not the kind of writing that people just want to devour and can't put down. To produce that kind of writing, we have to be writing from the body or intuition or soul. And so my membership, Write from the Heart, is a low cost and sort of, low level in terms of commitment way that you can start to put that into practice and learn how to write from the body. We meet online once a week. I give you guys a magical prompt to get you started. We write together in silence, and then I invite a couple of people to unmute and get some hot seat coaching about what they're currently struggling with in their writing. And then in between, you get access to a library of more than 20 videos outlining every step of the process of writing a first draft that moves readers emotionally. So check out the link and use the code Chloe to get your first week for free, and I look forward to seeing you there.